Okay, so we saw an example, what example was this? 2, how sometimes we had trig values that were positive and negative. And let's think about those. So this is all dependent on the location of the terminal arm. If we're in quadrant 1, both our x values and our y values are positive. That means that all ratios are going to be positive. In quadrant 2, the y values are positive, the x values are negative. That means that sine is going to be positive, but cosine is negative, and positive divided by negative is negative, so only sine is positive. Quadrant 3, I have that x is less than 0 and y is less than 0. That means cosine is negative, sine is negative, but negative divided by negative is positive. So in quadrant 3, tangent is positive. Quadrant 4, I have that x is positive, y is negative. That tells me that my sine value is going to be negative. Cosine is positive, and negative divided by positive is negative, so only cosine is positive. And I abbreviate this or remember this by thinking of CAST. So cosine is positive, all are positive, sine is positive, tangent is positive. Let's go apply that to some problems. So find theta given that tan theta is negative 1.681. So that means if I'm thinking about this, my ratio of opposite to hypotenuse is negative 1.61. So this number is bigger than this because it's greater than 1. It's in the second quadrant. So I'm going to draw this somewhere in the second quadrant. My angle will look something like this, where my y value is bigger than my x value. I'm not asked, though, what are the y value and the x value. I'm asked, what is the theta? So here's going to be my theta, but that theta is going to have a matching reference angle of this size. So here's my reference angle over here. So I've got 2 ways I can figure out this reference angle. In my calculator, let me get rid of this, I could type in, let's clear all this out, tan inverse of the negative 1.681. I get negative 59.25. So that negative 59.25 would be here. That could also be thought of as a reference angle. The 59.25 would be this measure here. So this one's going to be 180 minus 59.25. So I want to be really careful putting this into my calculator. I'm going to do 180, and I'm going to do plus this answer, because when I add a negative, it's like subtracting. So I get an answer that's about, so I'll change my equals. This is about 120.7 degrees. 120, that's between 90 and 180, so I'm feeling really good about that answer because that's the second quadrant.